Hey there, fellow builders, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Aloft, Episode 2, Building a Skyship. So if you build a home kite, I will show you some of the stats. So this island that I'm on is too large to be claimed for homes, so I'll go to a different island to show you the selection. This is like a relatively small island. Doesn't have water though, but apart from that, and if we interact with it, we can then stick a helm down and see on the bottom right its weight, and then the floater elevation, the rudder performance, and the sail speed. So the smaller the island, the less stuff you need in order to make it mobile. This island's, if you guys didn't want me to settle the micro pond, this one's not terrible. I'm going to do a little bit of island shopping then. Seems like you didn't like the micro pond. Now, the thing about the micro pond is if I did choose the micro pond, I would, like, build foundations and platforms, so I wouldn't be, like, sloshing around in the pond the whole time. I would build it up. But, that one's pretty good. And the reason I really like small islands is when you have... Okay, this one is like a bunch of islands chained together. I wonder if this one is valid to be steered. That'd be relatively unique if it was. Let's see here. If I spyglass it... Yeah, it doesn't... So I could take an island like this, which is just like a weird bunch of islands chained together. My hesitation with that is when you're building up an island, having to jump from section to section is going to get old real fast. It's one of the reasons why I like smaller islands, is so that they're more manageable. Because really large islands become somewhat unmanageable. Oh, and we have something here. A lost key. So, how about this one? The one that I'm currently on. Should I settle this current island? Yes or no? Technically, I already have, even though I destroyed the home kite. Because destroying the home kite is not how you disown an island. You have to, like, abandon it, which is a different process. This one has no water. It's not a big deal having no water. But I can check out that Emerald Island if you want. Let's open up the map again. Yeah. Well, how about we go to this other cluster, which is the... So I'm going to pick one of the local cluster of islands, just so that we can get the game moving. I'll quickly purify this island. No, I don't, I don't even want to settle this island. Way too big. This island has like a shipyard on it. But this is what, this is a good example of what a micro island could look like when built up. This thing right here. We're like building foundations and storage and having it cozy and efficient. With this one already has sails and everything, so it gives you kind of an idea of what it might look like if it was a micro island. So I'm just gonna put a foot on the other islands around. And there is no like limit to your boost distance or your flight distance. With that said, once you own an island, it makes a lot more sense to travel around with your island, because it will be where your like animals live and your farms grow and all that stuff. So you stop gliding around as the only means to travel. And this is what I mean by pseudo-procedural generation. So, like, this island, for instance, is roughly of the same design as the last one that I was on. It just has different resources. So, like, inside there wasn't wind crystals, for instance. Oh, I might have doubled back. And gone somewhere wrong. Alright, you guys don't like that little island. I'll check out this little one with the waterfall. Looks small. Not the one I'm headed to, but the one adjacent. So this was the one that looked like it had ecological damage because it wasn't green. I'm sort of curious if that's the case. I'll field guide it. No, it's healthy. It's just not green. You could put the green back, probably. It just, I'm guessing, requires turf. Yeah, it just requires turf. It's just a bald island, if you will. Don't worry, island. Me too, dude. Me too. Alright, how about this one? Slightly larger, still condensed with a little, waterfall. You guys keep vetoing. At some point, I'm just going to overrule you. Just a warning. Because, you know, I want to progress through the game and not go island shopping forever. But it looks like this is a solid yes. So the next thing to do is to figure out the direction and heading of your island. So if, before I settle in, one of the issues with this island that I don't have with the other islands is, and this gets into slightly spoiler territory, so I might actually overrule you with this island. When you're steering your islands around, if any part of your island bumps up against another part of a different island, you sort of come to a halt. And as a result of that game mechanic, a lot of the islands will require you to transport animals by hand from your island to another island to fix the ecology. Which means it's really helpful to have an island that you can maneuver nimbly around so that you're not constantly like clunking islands together. And islands that have a lot of depth, like iceberg depth, let's call it, can get pretty clunky to steer. Which is why I prefer like the really small disc-styled islands that aren't deep, because you can move around other islands with, you know, rather than just constantly bumper car bump into other islands. You guys just wanted a waterfall? That's funny. So let me do a quick buzz by the other islands, see if we can get one with a waterfall. There was one over here with a waterfall, but it was way too big. This is one of the starter islands. I think this one right here has a waterfall too, but it was much larger than the last one. And one of the advantages of the micropond is, yeah, it doesn't have any of those steering problems. Because there's no depth to this. So this thing is like, you know, very nimble compared to the others. And I think I'm going to overrule you because I'm not interested in flying a clunker. So what I'm going to do here is teleport home. Oh, you know, I should have just despawned my home island. And delete home island. Because I had claimed it, but I want to unclaim it. What island am I on now? I think it spawns me on the closest adjacent. Yes. So that's the weird broken up one. I need a map to figure out where I'm headed. So I am going to choose this one. The micropond anyway. Why won't it let me mark it? Oh, there. Think it's marked? So when I play tested this, I settled a much larger island, and I spent a lot of time just like slamming into things when I was trying to essentially dock 2 islands together, and it was frustrating because, you know, I knew it was player skill and all that, but it was like, well, my time's not being spent well here. The other advantage of a really small island is it won't take much infrastructure to get it to really start moving. Which means I will have to spend a lot less time grinding for materials to build like sails, rudders, etc. Okay. Build up the pond island. Current priority. So here's what we'll do. I am going to build a wooden foundation. So we need to choose a direction, essentially. I'm going to build a wooden foundation here. Let's make it low. And this will be the front of the ship. Try to line this up so that it's straight. And now we have steering wheel. Let's put in the floaters. And I'll put them off to the sides. And then once I have enough infrastructure on this island, we can stop sloshing around the pond because I'll build upwards. Get some rudders. Now, this floater needs 3 more leaf cloth. Nope, that's not what I meant to do. I might not go for like symmetry right now, but eventually I'll do I'll work towards symmetry. So I need 1 more leaf cloth for a sail, square sail. Can I hover and build? No. And then in terms of your island, depending on your direction of your helm, so like this is straight, you want the sail rigged so that it's pointed in that correct direction. I am sort of curious if I can't stick my sail in the middle. I can. Swanky. Okay, so we have rudder, sail, and floater. And as far as the game's concerned, this is enough to get us moving. So as far as controls go, space and control is elevation. And Mass, thank you for the resub. A and D is steering. And W and S is speed. I'm going to keep everything that we build in real basic right now. But eventually we'll put this up. I think what I want to do is head over to the corrupted islands that I had skipped to fix them. So I just set a waypoint to this island cluster that I have not really explored. And we'll see what we can do for them. Now, rudders are really, really easy to get, like, a lot of good rudder control for an island, because rudders just cost a little bit of wood. They're very cheap. Whereas the other stuff require, like, leaf cloth and things that are harder to come by in high quantity early on. And here we are. Now, on the top right, and I know my overlay covers it a little bit, there's knots in wind direction. So we have a little bit of, like, crosswind here. Have I set down the claim flag for this itself? Oddly enough, no. Oh, no, I thought I had, but it's gone? Let's claim it, because this should be my home. I'll have it floating off the back. Alright. Yoda Island. And now I'm home. And one of the advantages of home, if you're wondering about your status conditions, if you hit tab and go into conditions, being wet gives me less momentum, hydrated increases my attack speed, and home doubles the duration of effects. Alright, let's fix this corrupted island. And one of the things we are going to want to get a lot of is the fungal fibers from healing islands like this. Because it's a resource that is harder to come by later on in the game. So the Micter fibers. There we go. It's dead. Oh, these red things are like proximity explosives. You get too close to them, they explode. They will mess you up very fast. It will also kill the enemies too, so it's a double-edged sword. If you want to blow up enemies, you can trigger them and do a lot of damage. Alright, so there's another corruption node somewhere on this island. And it's right here. Tralalero and Sty, thank you for the resubs. Alright, if we take a look at the Emerald Island, this island has an unhealthy ecosystem due to the fact that it doesn't have the right amount of trees. Ooh, that hurt. So this is an example of dying, where I'm going to teleport back home, so it was useful to die. And there's really no death penalty. It's very easy to just get right back into the fight. And apparently, I haven't cleaned this island, because I only have... It hasn't... All of these fungoid monsters... Oh, it's because the core's not dead yet. Oops. There we go. I now have unlocked Leap Attack. So I hold... When I have momentum, which is in the bottom left, if I hold left mouse attack, I will do an attack lunge on enemies. So the resources of this island are still tied up due to the fact that it has a bad ecosystem. So I need to plant trees here. So if I take tree seeds, put them on my tool belt, I can start to plant trees. Now often you will get more tree seeds than cutting down trees than you use. But like this anchor here, I can't grab because I don't have enough I don't have enough trees on this island. So what I want to do is go to another adjacent island that looks like it has trees, cut a whole bunch of trees down for tree seeds, and then come back and replant so that I can get that lost knowledge. Ooh. This one has like a nice hidden glade. Now, not all, there's different, like, biomes in the game based on difficulty. Kind of like the game Raft, right? And depending on the biome you're in, not all the trees should be planted. So, these are the Emerald Islands, and there are other island types. There are some things that will share with other biomes. So, not all plants and animals are biome exclusive, but a lot of them are. So you just should keep that in mind, that if you're getting a massive amount of Emerald Island trees, you might not be able to transplant those to other islands if they're not appropriate, if they don't belong in the biosphere. And the game will warn you of that. It will say, like, this doesn't actually add to your ecology score because it doesn't belong here. Windstones aren't particularly rare, but you do need a bunch of woodstones to initially get your flying island parts built. So early on, you might be hunting for windstones. Later on, you'll tend to have plenty of them. But windstones are just the ones that have these light blue veins in them. How many tree seeds do I have? 22? That's probably plenty. Oh. There was also something else here before I leave. Oh, no, I got that already. It's funny, my home island is so small it doesn't even render at distance. Can you ruin an ecosystem by overharvesting? Yes, absolutely. And unfortunately, it's also kind of a consequence of playing. Often that will happen intentionally, as you'll understand. So, because we fixed this island, we're enthusiastic. Increased damage, movement, attack speed, and momentum for a period of time. So let's poke around this island, grabbing whatever resources that we can find. And then there was also knowledge here as well for us to grab. And that was down below. Oh no, that was right up top. The most obvious spot possible. If you leave the sails up, will it move on its own? It will for a while, and then it will stop. It won't completely drift out of the player's area. Well, while I have all these combat bonuses, let's clean another island. So, consumables. Water and sugar beet. And there's a knowledge stone right there that we're trying to unlock. So you can see my attack speed bonus, and then I'll show you some of the momentum attacks. So holding left mouse button, I can do a lunge attack. Like this, highlight the target, and lunge forward. Oh, and in this case, there's a new enemy type. These guys have a ranged attack, so very handy to have lunge for them. Are there other reasons to bring an island into balance other than being able to gather stuff on the island? Not really. So unless there's resources that you want, there's not incentive to fix an island unless it's easy to do. Got campfire. Nice. That is the first step towards cooking. And this island has like a nifty little shipyard with like floating adjacent islands attached to it. All right, let's see how many of the local area islands I've already tapped. So there's 2 left I have not looked at. And I don't really need to, because there are those 2 side islands. So, let's go somewhere new. Quick question, east or west? So, this cluster or that cluster? And while you vote... Oh, I already have a cooking plate? Oh, nice. While you vote, I'm gonna, trick out my island just a little bit more. Now, eventually I'll get a lot more patterns to give me access to more interesting building styles, you know, so if I wanted to make like a circular palisade around the island, I could. That kind of design. And I can work towards that so I'm not sloshing around the pond, like I said. Well, for now, simple little platforms like this will do. Okay, we got a workbench, campfire, and a cooking platform. So we can start a fire. And with this, we can choose to cook meals, and there are recipes for us to discover. And before I get to new islands, I wouldn't mind having mad speed. That sail was not exactly centered. Oh, there's still a stone in the pond. And as you can see, there's just a ton of flexibility. The game allows you to do kind of whatever you want. All right, so we're going to rotate it. And then I'm going to hit 3 to select the, like, build a sail, which gives you options for design. So this is a much larger sail. It's not exactly pointing... Eh, it will work. I'm going to move the rudders to the back. And this is just so that while we're traveling around... Oops, that was the wrong one. While we're traveling around, I can travel faster. And you can also see that it can be attached not just to the island itself, but to the structures that you build. Alright, if I had, actually, whoops, let's quickly go over to this so I can get a few more trees for leaves so I can get another floater. But you can see that my sail speed is up and my rudder speed is much, much higher. It doesn't take much to set yourself up with like a decent sky island to float around on. Is there a risk for fire to spread? Nope. I know that my steering wheel isn't really centered. That's something that we can fix later on. Let's get the other floater. And we'll be headed, I think, west. So, select a target. Oh, I am missing rope for this. Oh man, this island... Sorry for making you dizzy. This island is very maneuverable, though. So, west it is. Ooh. Well, we still have crosswind. Coming into a little bit of a headwind. Pretty good. Now is that... Yeah, this is a little bit more centered than the last platform. This is 1, 2, 3, and 1 and 2. Oh, we're here. Let's slow down and descend. Oh, this is a dream to sail. Oh god. It's almost too maneuverable. I'm not used to something this nimble. And you can also hit Q and change your view. So you can get kind of like a bird's eye view of what this thing looks like. Oh, there's animals here. I see a sheep. Fantastic. So, I will absolutely be grabbing that thing. As animals are maybe one of the most important resources to obtain in the game. No joke. And to that end, I think it would be useful to... Alright, we don't actually have the bridge yet. So that's a blueprint we'll get eventually. Let's descend so that I can... And as long... I'll show you the game mechanics, but as long as your island is close to the other island, you can transport animals back home with you. So we jump on this thing. With the hay that I made, I can feed this here critter. Blake. Hold E and send him home. And he will teleport home. So now he teleported into the pond. And eventually what I'll do is I'll build like a platform for like a farm over the pond. So that the animal has a place to like hang out, graze, or whatever. So it's not floating. But if I take a look at my book here, I have an animal. Also, worth noting that I don't currently have access to shears, which allows me to get the wool. And if we open up this book, there are 2 more animals on this island that I could round up. At some point, I'm going to need to make some storage, because I know I'm filling up my inventory and not remedying that. Where are the other animals? Oh, that was a new resource. It's a flower that you can pick, eventually for pigments. And here's another resource. Hardstone. Very important. Hardstone is one of those you really can't have enough of, so if you see hardstone, grab it. Because you're going to want it. It's useful for making a lot of woodworking things and to improve your tools, and just, it's useful for a lot of things. And it's relatively rare, so see it, grab it. When I craft on my own island, it does pull from chests, yes. And there should be one more buckaroo somewhere around here. Oh, here's a really good example of where to dig. With the door kip, I dug up white opal and glasswort and another field guide and hardstone and fungicide and yeah. So if there was like an X of stones here, and that's a pretty indicator of, hey, there's a secret here. So we'll investigate what resources this unlocks for me once I'm back at the workbench. Okay, where is this last animal? It is... Oh, there you are. You were stealthy, little one. Okay, we have 3 sheep. There are some bugs, I will say, that people run into where their animals disappear. I do find that building a pen and keeping them penned up helps to alleviate some of that. Just an FYI. So paper pulp is a new recipe, and carved wood is a new recipe made with hardstone, which I'll craft 1 of so we can have more new recipes. 2 hardstone and carved wood is shears. I'll craft them, and I'll set them to my new 5. And then for the door kip, I'll set that to 7. So Nolan is small right now, so I can't shear him, but eventually he'll grow. Blake I just sheared. Bailey I sheared. Which gives me wool. A new resource. 2 wool together is wool thread. And, okay. Yeah. So this island is done. Let's check out another one. And ultimately, you should be going where the unlocked knowledge and experience is. Oh, right. Got rid of that. Let's put that back. This thing is so maneuverable. So these 2 are obviously corrupted islands. And I can see their polyps, let's call them, from here. So let's go fix those. See if there's knowledge on them. Whoops. Bit too overeager, got a little bump. I still have a decent amount of inventory space, so I'm not too worried about that. Oh, Jesus. Oh, the island just yeeted me off. So this one has tendrils to guard it, and if you don't time it right, you can get pummeled by the tendrils, and I didn't see it coming until it sent me flying. Once the fences are downed like this, the tendrils won't be active, so you can time it so that you don't get whipped around. Ouch. I didn't want that one shooting me because I am wounded. Alright, there goes one of two. I think, given my current health, I ought to heal. So about that, we'll go into our decorations and build a stump seat. And just sit. And we'll use up some of our momentum, the white bar, used for like combos and stuff, to heal. Thank you for tuning in to Aloft, which originally streamed live on Twitch January 17th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming stream. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, fellow survivors.